G'day guys, welcome to the channel. As you can see behind me, we have a new arrival, the Falcon 4-door sedan, XA Falcon 4-door sedans arrived back from Ready Strip, and she's looking very clean, I must say. This car, I blasted the outside of it a few years ago, and I started working on the car. I started working actually on the other side. I got the wheel arch section replaced. I put new inner and outer sill in, and fixed up the side of the kickboard over there. And then I actually got the idea to work on the coupe to do this project. And the old XA kind of got pushed into the corner. And gradually over time, she got a bit of surface rust built. It was like probably 2 years of neglect sitting in the corner. She built up some surface rust. And I kind of thought about it, and I thought, do I really want to blast this thing again? I don't think it's really good to blast cars too many times. And I was just talking to Peter over at Ready Strip, and I had the Mustang to do as well. And yeah, we came to an agreement, so I decided to send this thing over and have it stripped. And I'm really glad I did, because where blasting, does what you can see, it doesn't do anything inside any of the cavities. So now we've got this back, and she's all blasted. We know all the cavities are clean, and even though the floor pan, it's got some pretty nasty patches from the previous owner who put them in, you can kind of see like how clean it all comes up, how clean the metal looks. It's yeah, very, very nice. As I say, I didn't put those patches in, but they're a little bit, they're pretty good. I mean, it's just the welding's a little bit lumpy, but I'll just go and grind that off later on. The roof's pretty good, so that's the main thing for me, is that I hate having to do roofs. But yeah, so kind of happy this is back. So I'll probably be working on both of the cars from time to time. And yeah, so the main thing for me at the moment is to get as many parts of this in primer as I can. So over the course of the next week, I'll probably be going through stages of priming it with 2-pack. So yeah, anyway, good to see it back. The Mustang's on its way, so we'll be having a look at that a little bit later. And in the meantime, I'm going to be also focusing on this rear end. I've got this IRS set up here. Originally a 2016 Mustang IRS. It's basically they come about 1750 wide from axle to axle, and the actual width of a Falcon diff from axle to axle is about 1545. And so we've got a 200 mil difference. So a Mustang IRS is way too wide to stick in the back of a Falcon. That's if you want to have nice deep dish wheels and everything like that. So had a word to the engineer, and we went ahead, and Con actually had this thing shortened up. So the cage itself was split down the center, had 200 mil taken out of it, and both sides brought together. What this means is that all the suspension geometry remains the same. And then he had to actually change the diff head itself, so that's been built from scratch out of just sheet metal, and mounting points and everything different. And this is actually a piece that goes on the front. Can't use a stock mount, so I think it goes something like that. And then we've got the axles. The axles were custom built by Anthony Natoli. Did a really great job. So that's all been powder coated clear, so that'll remain like that. And then the diff head itself has had some alterations. It's had the normal ears which mount it to the cradle have all been sort of cut off. Where are they? I think they were down here somewhere. They've been cut off, and a new mount's been welded on the bottom of it. That diff has all been reassembled by a diff technician here in Minto, and yeah, so it's all ready to go together. So a little bit later on, I'm going to get to putting this together, so we'll get some sealant. Probably it looks like, talking to the diff guy, and he was sort of saying that we won't need to use a gasket on this. We'll just use silicone sealer. So that's what we'll do. Go ahead and do that. And what else? Oh yeah, the other thing too, I was playing around with this Plenum cover, which, love of my life, the Plenum cover, which I spent so long on. And but I've just been tweaking it, just doing some final adjustments, and it's coming out all right. It's quite happy with it, actually. It sort of clips into place now without any need for anything else. So you can pull it out like that. And what I've done is I've used a little, these are just little brackets I had laying around in scrap metal, just happened to have a nice little shape to them. And so I went ahead and put them on the back, welded them on the back, and she should just, what it's designed to do is these are just designed to clip in under this little fold in the metal. And let's see if I can get that one in. Yeah, that. That's it. So it clips into place. So now this plenum cover's finished. I'm really pleased with the way it's turned out. It was a lot of work went into it, and I definitely, thought I was going to have to scrap it a few times, but luckily she turned out. The thing I'm thinking about now is what I'm going to be doing about fasteners, because it all clips in there very nicely, and it needs to be fastened in some way. But the question is, do I use some type of aftermarket sort of bolt, like a domed Allen key, a titanium bolt or something like that across here? At the moment I've got holes drilled every 200 where I had the clecos fixed. The thing is fitting so well now that I'm actually wondering if I even need to bolt it all the way across, or whether I just put like a rubber seal on it and just have like some sort of fixture just in the corner. So let me know your thoughts anyway in the comments. Should I have a little sort of dress bolt every 200 all the way? So the other thing that I'm thinking about is the engine bay, what I'm going to be doing here. And for example, with these inner aprons, as you can see, I've made one here myself, which I'm probably not going to use that one. That was more of an experiment. Played around a little bit with shapes and with the bead roller. So, but anyway, I've got another 4 to make. And originally I was going to weld them in fully and then bodywork over them, so everything would just be smooth and flowing. But now I was wondering, because I had this idea in my mind about doing the engine bay all in satin black, so no matter what colour the car is, and we'll get to that in a minute because I've got no idea what colour I'm painting this car, but let's just say regardless of the colour of the car, the engine bay is satin black. And do I weld and bodywork these aprons in so they're seamless, or do I purposely make it so that they're removable and then use the same type of bolts, which I may use across the top here, around the actual borders of each apron? And then, having said that, over the top of these arches, I'm also going to have to make a panel which will fit over them. Once I've actually installed the front end from United Speed Shop, then I'll actually have to fabricate a panel which it'll probably sort of start somewhere up here, so it clears the upper control arm, and then it'll just be covering that face, and I'll run a bead around it, put some sort of shape in it or whatnot. But yeah, do I make them fixed or do I make them removable? In some ways I like the idea of the satin black finish, with maybe titanium or stainless steel Allen key bolts around it, but anyway, let me know what your thoughts in the comments section. So I think the next thing I might do is look at the doors. I'm going to need to put new door skins on these door frames. So even though they've been dipped, it'll be good to get the skins off and just have a look at those inner seams that you can't get to, dipping can't get to, and see how they're looking. And it's going to be a lot easier also to do any rust repairs on the frame with the skin off. So that'll be quite good. So I think I'll do that next, and hopefully by the time I've done that, the old Mustang will have shown up from the dippers. So with the doors for the project, I actually have 2 sets of doors. The original set that I was going to use came back from the dippers from Ready Strip, and there were some areas of rust which obviously needed to be repaired. So this is a driver's door, so there's a patch down that corner that's going to need doing. And then we've just at the rear, it's going to need patches here and here. But there were other issues like, you can't really see it, but where the door handle is, there was actually a crack around the door handle, and then the other thing was where the latch surround is, it's basically all buggered up. So, as I said, I was originally going to use these, but then I looked at the doors that I actually had on the ute, and they were a lot straighter and they needed much less repairs. There was no damage around the door handle. Where the latches bolts on is pretty much 90% okay. And so I was going to go ahead and use them. Now, when the availability of these the brand new door skins came along, I started thinking, and I thought about it a bit more, and I thought, well, I don't really want to take the skins off doors, which are pretty good, and I could basically use them on the ute, and maybe I'd be better off using these doors and putting new skins on them and just simply repairing the rust patches. And the reason being is a few different reasons. First of all, I'm going to be cutting this area out anyway. Now that I've actually decided that I'm going to use the modern latch system from the Mustang, that area is going to be cut out. So there's no point cutting it out of a door that's got a perfectly good latch area. And the other reason is because I'm going to change the skin, it's obviously going to be a lot easier to repair these. I'll be able to get to it from both sides. And there is a third reason, and that is that I want to use the electric window system from the Mustang, and it's going to be a fairly tricky job getting that to work. But I was thinking it's probably going to be, again, a lot easier if I have the skin off and I can work on this frame from both sides installing that. So all in all, I think that's the way to go. So that's what we're going to do. So what I'm going to do, aside from removing the skin, I'm going to try to save it because the actual door skin on this is not too bad. I'll just tip it over, have a little look. So it's got a little rust hole there and just needs a little patch there. And then the rest of it, it's relatively straight, apart from possibly needing some work. It probably just I think there's a crack. I'm not going to pull the tape off because it's protecting it at the moment, but I think there's a crack along there somewhere. So basically, I mean, if I don't use it, that'll be, a fairly good second-hand door skin for somebody else to use. And I mean, it's already been to ready strip. It's already had everything stripped off, paint, rust, and everything else. So it'll be a very clean second-hand door skin. So that's what I'll do. And so now I'm just going to figure out how to go about it. Now, this area down here, the skin's actually attached to a strengthening rib of some sort. And where it's spot welded, I can't get to those spot welds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can remove the actual rib with the skin and then take it off the skin and reinstall it after. So probably going to see about whether or not I can use the plasma cutter just to sort of cut around that weld there. If not, then I'll use the belt sander. And then got an area here which it looks like the rib is spot welded through here, so I have to go ahead and drill all those out. So that's what we'll do. So we'll get on with it. Alright, so she's off and doesn't look too bad. Definitely a reusable skin, not for this project, but for another project. And there's definitely a bit of work involved. You know, it's not rocket science, but I mean, it's just, you know, getting those spot welds drilled out properly, and then getting that lip folded back. And I mean, obviously the easiest way, if you're not trying to save the skin, is you just run around the edges with a grinder and yeah, lop it off. But at least this way, like I say, it's a reusable skin for another project, and it's not too ugly. I mean, you've got that area there and that area there. Whoop. Yeah, hole there. As far as this handle goes, like I say, I'm not going to unwrap it, but I remembered that it had a crack. So now with this strengthening bar here, I'll just check the skins. I'm pretty sure the skins don't have that. No, that's right. Yeah, so that has to be reused with the new door skin. But that's a basic task. Just basically drill out each spot weld. There's only like one on each part where it rises up there, and take it out and then reinstall that back onto the door frame. And the door frame itself, so I'm going to have to do some little patches there and there. Get rid of all this rust, obviously. Now these doors were dipped. They were sent to Ready Strip, but the thing is, Ready Strip can't possibly get into these flanges where it's all folded. So, and that's the thing about working on these old cars. You can have them blasted, or you can have them dipped, or whatever. But in between the panels where they join, nothing's ever going to get in there. So it's kind of cool to take the skin off and to see what you're dealing with, and know that this is all going to be treated and painted, and it's not going to come back once the new skin's installed. But then the other advantage, as I said, is now I've got this empty shell. It's going to be a lot easier to work out the issues with the Mustang window winder situation, installing that, and also installing the Mustang latches. So yeah, all in all, pretty cool. So glad I decided to do that and not ruin a couple of good doors. Alright guys, I'm going to end the video here. Hope you enjoyed the update. The Mustang actually has just arrived in the yard, so I'll be able to give you a little bit of a sneak peek of that shortly. But in the meantime, I hope you enjoyed it. Please hit a like if you do, and please subscribe if you haven't already. And tomorrow I'll probably start another one on the Mustang, so I'll be able to give you all a detailed look at how she came back from the dippers and just how interesting it looks. So, alright guys, see you then. Well, the old Mustang's back. What's left of her. Oh man, that roof skin looks like a starry night. Oh well, she's going to be an experience rebuilding this one.